dang recap.
It's been a month. It's been a long time.
But yeah, what the
Yes.
fuck? Where the fuck did we leave off with?
Everybody
Where are we?
going their
Where are
separate directions after the fucking bar in the
Right,
brewery.
right. Info dump from Cal about Turing Ward.
Mhm.
Maps were drawn about shit.
And kind of
Um,
some idea of how we would try to approach
mhm,
Gigadeath in the HQ,
mhm.
and plotting for people meeting because apparently Rat is going to go help with some pyrotechnics because she's going to enjoy that.
Yep,
Yeah.
it's gonna be great.
Rat meeting Cal and hanging out with Cal and Sprite, totally good time.
For anyone except people who piss them off.
True. Dangerous.
Now
but
I'm
fun.
just imagine what's the fucking dog? Rocket?
Sprocket. No, wait.
No, that's
Gadget.
it's Kaya. Gadget.
Gadget. Gadget is the dog. Sprocket is Kaya.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining like Gadget just like racing across the fucking stage in the middle of the concert.
He's got fucking fireworks on him. He's got
like Roman candles and sparklers, so he leaves a smoke trail and shoots fireballs.
Yeah, and it's like
unofficial Gigadeath mascot.
Hell yeah. He's gonna be trending.
Gigadog.
Giga. Can we please have Gigadog?
You can have Gigadog as a hashtag. That's easy. That's free.
Yes. Hashtag Gigadog. Fucking Gadgets up there. It's got Roman candles, sparklers. They've got it timed so that like it's a certain amount of times that the wheel spins. So every like 3 feet something goes off.
So the lead up to Gigadeath, you just see a whole bunch of pictures on Instagram from like fucking like Sprite and Cal and everybody else behind the scenes of like Rocket posed with different pieces of machinery.
Oh Jesus Christ! Hashtag Gigadog.
Gigadog becomes the new trend on the station.
Yeah.
Weird, very strange brainworm. But if there were fireworks on the station, technically the whole station would see the fireworks, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
That means,
but where would the ashes go?
Fireworks?
Would they go down or up?
A mix of both.
Yes,
Fireworks
the answer is yes.
for holidays have to be insane. Just go find yourself a tall building and just see the entirety of
just
the
look
station
up.
lighting up.
Yeah, you can go on the top of a tall building and lie down on your back and just look at the sky.
Mm-hmm.
So there was that planning. There was Kaya learning more first aid from Veluska. There was Legacy unlocking the secret of bribing Veluska.
Mm-hmm.
And also annoying the fuck out of him because he likes us, even if he doesn't admit it.
Mm-hmm. Legacy has discovered that Larry has tea.
Yes.
Oh, because he heard the conversation and said some shit.
He said some shit.
Hypocrite.
Kids, man. Hypocrite.
He knows the definition of the word, but now he knows how to use it in conversation. What else? Is there anything else that was going on?
Just skimming through.
I know.
It was mostly just like info dump and then some RPs towards the end.
Was getting the down low on the lab and realizing that we really can't fuck with the lab until we are ready to fuck with the lab, like beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, the lab is intense. But I recall that there were 2 things you wanted to try and accomplish from before Gigadeath involving the headquarters. One of which was getting some kind of layout of both the headquarters and the lab, or at least like some kind of map or document or something to give you an idea of where to go for specific things. And the other two things that I remember were Marcus trying to convince his boss for a bring your spouse to work day and or girlfriend for the non-committal folks. And then Legacy trying to stick some kind of remote thumb drive hacking assist device.
I think
No, Marcus.
the easier route was like kind of discussed rather than like a bring your significant other to work day.
Hire
Of like,
her, right?
yeah, of trying to
Oh yeah.
figure out how to hire her as a like one-off
Mhm.
security assistant for the IT department.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, I do remember that now.
So that that way she can get in and on the lower level and try to make getting into the system of Tetsuo's HQ from the outside easier for herself.
Mm-hmm.
So that she can just try to get as much as possible on the hacking end from the full dive and assist as much as she can while the others go into the actual building.
Okay. So the key pieces here are a series of roles. I'm not going to role play it out, but Marcus will talk to his boss about, at the very least, he will suggest. Well, actually, before I have Marcus suggest it,
I will also say, like, Legacy would have told him as much, but like, just trying to convince your boss to have a like bring your spouse, significant other, or whatever day as a full thing is going to be much harder. She'd be like, just like, ask if you can bring me on a tour. You're trying to impress a girl. It's easier to get one person in than to get your boss to say yes to a bunch of people.
Okay. So the first role is going to be it'll be a cool check from Marcus to try and convince his boss that he should let you come in for a tour, which is easier than you are right. It is going to be easier than a bring your significant other to work day.
Because even like top, like, I shouldn't say top secret, but even like places that have security, like actual labs, real world, like there's parts that they're allowed to bring somebody in and say, hey, look, this is where I work.
Oh yeah, for sure. So
I don't like that laugh.
that doesn't sell well because Marcus is not cool. But he doesn't biff it super hard. What he can do, though, is pitch you as a security consultant to get you in, which will get you to a specific part of the facility. So you won't get like a tour, but you will get access. If that does work, it will let you get access to the actual network security area, so to speak.
Because I think you also said that he like knows somebody in IT that he could just like drop a business card to and all that shit.
Exactly. And he also does not have to roll cool to attempt to convince anybody of anything, because he is not good at being cool. I will let him use his clever score for this, which is significantly better. And he rolled really, really well.
That's why the two of them get along and are in a relationship. They're both cool. Their coolest shit is like down in the dumps. Like, we can't handle people. Different types of can't handle people, but can't handle people.
Like the funny thing that I was looking at Marcus's stats earlier, and I was like, he is faster than he is cool, and he is not fast.
Is he just built like Kaya?
He's built like Kaya, but in reverse. He is tough, then cool, or then clever, then quick.
Okay.
Where I think Kaya has clever, then tough, then quick.
Yeah, okay. Just fucking...
I lied. Technically, my cool is better, or is my, like, +1 stat. Tough is my +0 stat.
You're cooler than you are tough, but you sure as fuck ain't tough.
She is tiny. She is tiny and was sick for most of her life.
Marcus was actually, I will say, like, he was actually even on clever and tough, but as a result of his mods and a result of training from Lockhart, I elected to give him his slight bump in tough. So you eventually hear back from Marcus. Everyone has gone their separate ways at this point. In the hours that follow, you hear back from Marcus that it is a success. He has managed to get like, by virtue of knowing a guy at his work and kind of implying that he knows a very, very good freelance network security person. He has more or less kind of smooth talked his way, I will say techno babbled his way into convincing his department, at the very least, that they should look for outside help. For a slew of reasons, but not the least of which is if they get outside help, they are mixing all of the best parts of Tetsuo with all of the nuance of someone who's not been here yet. So it's not they are not like too heavily engrossed in the industry standards. Because in the same way that when you look really closely at like a thing you've, like a piece of code you've written, or an image you've drawn, or anything, when you stare too closely at it, it starts to kind of run together and you don't notice even obvious mistakes. So they'll have a fresh set of eyes, one who's never been inside of the Tetsuo area, which does get you specialty access. We don't have to role play out all the nuances. But is there anything you want to do aside from just get a relative assessment of the integrity of their virtual defenses?
She wanted to get some idea of what type of defenses there were and all that type of stuff. If they're letting her into the system at all, I imagine she would she has done it in other companies. Of introducing something that, on the surface level at the very least, does increase their defense a little bit. They're like their cyber defense and like their firewalls and everything. But because it is her code, functions like maybe not a back door, but like, a key under the map.
Okay. So go ahead and make a hacking roll. And first, make a hacking roll as though you were doing a like stealth, like a ghost check.
So that is going to be hacking plus my switch, and then this would be dealing with Tetsuo. 6, 7. Let's see.
$17. That's pretty good. So with that, I think you get 3 ghosts. Because you get over the success, the margin was 12, so you get 1 for succeeding, and then you get +1 for getting 3 over it, and you got 3 over it again, so you get another +1, so that's 3 total.
And I get 1 more from my virtual ghost talent.
There you go. So you got 4. Okay, this is really good because I will say for you to subtly plant a piece of code, I will say once a day, maybe not once a day, maybe like it's not perfectly, it won't perfectly line up from the day that this takes place to the day of Gigadeath, but I'll say they get like maybe like exactly 4 checks, but they have to beat 4 ghosts, so they have to get 5 successes or succeed every single time to actually find that you have left not even a hole, but like a closed door with no handle, right? So you have effectively gotten an access point. If you get into the network, you do not have to actually hack into the network to get access to the surface level of their defense system and being in the office. So I will take a minute to describe the actual Tetsuo headquarters. Let me go.
Well, before you go into the description, let me ask something to see if I can use something I have here.
Go for it.
I have, like, all of my assets are fucking hacking programs.
Yes.
And one of my hacking programs is Memory Worm. It says that I can spend 1 to 2 prep to activate this during a hack. Until the ghost is gone, reduce the network's effective level by 1 per 1 prep spent to a maximum of 2.
That is really, really good for this.
Okay. I'll go ahead and spend 2 prep then to lower their levels.
Uh-huh. So that will take it... Hold on, where is my book? Where the fuck is...
Because that should lower what they're, like, the bonus they're rolling with, right?
Yes, it'll lower it by a substantial amount. So, where is it?
I finally get to use my shit.
Yes. So the security level would be lowered by 2. Which, let me see, because they're going to be... It drops it to... Yes. So it drops it from a 7 to a 5, which takes it down an entire threshold of security, which is going to greatly reduce the network's effective ability to, like, attempt to find it. That's awesome. So you have that. I need to make a note of that really quick because I will forget, and everyone will laugh at me. All of these, there will be so many girls who are watching who laugh at me if I don't remember this.
So what did it lower?
It lowered the effective security level of the network.
So essentially what that is it lowers the addition to their rolls that they get to, like, try and spot me, and it also lowers the thresholds I have to pass to get in and get stuff done, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yes, correct.
It lowers their bonus and the TN.
Now, I will say, because of to give you the credit here and, like, not try to be too cheaty with Legacy. I am willing to spend a few more prep if you want me to keep that memory worm up. Because I don't know that it's necessarily meant for a long-term thing like this.
Okay. I think that would be reasonable. So, like, during the sessions, what would be the session that Gigadeath takes place on? You would be starting with 2 prep short to keep it so that security has been held down for that amount of time. Freelance.
That right there is the primary reason that she was wanting to get in, even beyond like figuring out their security. It's just like she can get in and fuck with their code just a little bit in person.
Yeah, you have very much achieved that, and I'll say, like, just by virtue of doing that, the network security is, I think, it has been significantly lowered to the point where I don't think anyone would be able to successfully detect that anything had changed for at least like a day or two. Because you really just kind of gave it like 20 cc's of ketamine, like straight to the neck.
What were you typing, ma'am?
That's me typing.
Nah, I see the Kaya Rumo is typing. Yes. Never thought I would be fucking compared to something from the Aristocats, but okay.
Girl, I love that movie.
So, well, let me turn. There we go. So, you have successfully managed to slip both a potential access route for yourself at a future date, as well as kind of inoculate their system so that they are less adept, slower on the draw once you start your actual infiltration process. That has happened. So I will take a minute to describe like the actual part of the journey that Legacy had physically taken to get to the headquarters, because Marcus did succeed. You have been brought in. You have already succeeded at all of this stuff. You are brought to the headquarters at Vern Station. Or sorry, not Vern Station. I can't even remember.
Voyager?
Voyager Ward, yes. There we go. So you are at the headquarters, which we're looking for Voyager. Yes. So the building here, you can actually see the Tetsuo building. It's not the tallest building, but it is a very, like, of course, like a classic neo-future design where the building is, it's not like a perfect prism. So the top forms a trapezoid and then it goes down at a slight angle so that it kind of makes this weird, like, you have the top of the building and then it goes down and there is a lip. It almost looks like a top hat. But that is what the building looks like. And then if you were looking in the back, you'd see, obviously, the Tetsuo sign right here on the front. So the building is shaped in a very classically weird, future-y way. But once you get inside, and for all of his professionalism, Marcus is still a little nervous. You get to see him in his business attire, which you've probably Legacy would have seen at this point, but like him in his like button-down white shirt. He looks like a typical office tech worker bro. He doesn't need a suit jacket, just a collared shirt and a tie and slacks and business casual shoes. But when he goes into the actual office and walks in on the base floor, you are greeted with a pretty, all things considered, bland area. It is very clean. It is very neo-modern, very, very chic, very slick. Lots of stark black and white types of furniture, and the flooring is like a black, almost perfectly clean, reflective obsidian. And then the walls are a crisp, like opaque white. So it looks honestly a little bit like the refrigerator wall, but like obviously it's not a fridge. But it is, it just screams like corporate cool culture. I don't know if any of you have been in a building like this where it is like a very, very much putting on the airs of we are big and we do important work here. And Tetsuo as an entity, yeah, like they do a lot of big and to their own benefit important work, but you know, ultimately this is very self-aggrandizing. There is on their wall on the first floor, the only thing that really stands out to you that is not part of the traditional decor is the memorial. There is a memorial in place for Joseph Diego. It has a massive portrait of him that is, on close inspection, hand-painted. It is a hand-painted, brass-framed, ornate portrait painted of Joseph Diego in a gray suit, his standard gray suit. And around this portrait, which are like kind of, it's not smack in the middle of the lobby area where when you walk into the lobby, there is a front desk and check-in area off to the side. There's a security booth where they're watching cameras. As you walk in and get a little bit closer to the actual main thoroughfare, you'll see an elevator area and stairway. And right before the elevator area, right in the area, like this little like half-sized slice of hallway, so that everyone has to go by it, either to get to the elevator and upstairs or to get to the bathroom from the security office or the check-in desk, so that even if you don't work upstairs, even if you are in your office, the moment you walk in the door, if you have to piss at all during the day, you have to walk by the memorial. Everybody sees it. The big picture, there's little, what is it? Minimalist, very minimalist style vases set to the side with flowers. There is a commemorative plaque that has his full name written out below it. And it has the date that he was killed. And it like people have left like other flowers. There's other like little, there is a almost like a guest book style thing where people would leave notes to honor the memory of Joseph Diego, the the brilliant, like most effective director of Tetsuo.
I twitch, but she says nothing.
You walk in and you pass that, and even Marcus is a little bit like, Marcus works on a much higher floor. In total, there are roughly 20 some odd floors to this building. 20 above surface level floors. There are sub levels. And you can see that as you get into the elevator. Getting into the elevator, there are 20 some odd levels, which end in about 5 restricted higher levels, where they might have boardrooms, or obviously the CEO penthouse suite style area. And then they have 3 sub-levels. Marcus would explain, so there is a tech library, and it's kind of a mix of old documentation, and it's a little hard to parse anything useful out of it, but occasionally there's something useful, and that's on the 2nd floor. Not the sub-level, the 2nd floor from here. But the sub-level has the archive. The 1st sub-level has all of the old documentation that is either no longer useful or is referencing out-of-date tech that we don't use.
So that's where the white pages would be?
Yes. The white papers would be in both locations. There's the library where the most immediately useful stuff is, and then there is the archive where some old, probably not useful anymore stuff would be. So you have the 2nd floor, and then you have the negative 1st floor.
Okay. Yes, you are allowed to laugh because Legacy does not own business attire.
It's just for the sake of seeing it, you would meet Marcus's boss. His boss. I mean, have you seen Office Space?
Yes.
His boss has the same vibe as the boss from Office Space, where it's like a mid or maybe between mid-30s and mid-40s kind of aged man, with a very, very weird hairstyle. It's not modern, but it's not retro. It's just kind of a mess. In the sense that it doesn't really give you a vibe. It just seems like it's anachronistic. Somehow, it's anachronistic no matter whether you're 20 years in the past or 20 years in the future. But he wears a much more professional business attire. He has the suit jacket. He has the rather than wearing black slacks and a black suit coat, he wears the collegiate business major attire of blue suit coat, khaki pants. You know him. You know the one. And he has the very, very ugly red and blue striped tie, and he takes one look at Legacy in that outfit, and there is a professional understanding of all right, you were brought here for your expertise, so obviously you get to dress how you want. There is a kind of underlying assumption, and if not throwing a bit of shade towards someone, there's an underlying assumption that you must make more than Marcus, because Marcus works here and he does not get to dress how he wants. But Marcus, honestly, just sigh of relief, is glad that he does not have to worry about you passing the scrutiny of his boss any longer. But as you walk around, the actual like 10th or 11th or somewhere in the middle section of the building where Marcus would work, you see that there is just a standard sea of cubicles, and they're not cramped cubicles. They're not the archetypically like 5-foot square cube oppressive cubicles. They're the chic, modern, big cubicle where you have a window that you can look out of, and it's very fancy. This is the like bourgeois kind of nice cubicle. But if you take a step back and just look at it for what it is just a more inefficient use of space to kind of appease people on a level where they won't get uncomfortable with it. But ultimately, it is just a maze of cubicles. Looking around the room, you have people wandering around. There's a soda fountain. There's a fridge and little like waiting area where you can have snacks provided at the expense of the company. Isn't that nice? The snacks they have available are trash. It's dry ass, no name brand peanut butter crackers and raisins. And if you like raisins, you're wrong.
It's not dried cranberries, at least.
Fine, you can dried cranberries and dried raisins intermingled. I don't like raisins. Raisins are the problem. That's what I'm
just
trying
saying,
to say.
It's Tetsuo. They gotta treat them,
Yeah,
just
you're
a
right.
bit higher.
You're right. It is the 11th floor of the Tetsuo headquarters, so they would have actual
Fruit
like
cups.
yeah, fruit cups with grapes, dried cranberries, and Ritz peanut butter crackers, because it's like the lower floors with normal shitty cubicles, which totally exist in this building, just not on this floor. They are the ones who get the shitty no-name brand.
These are high-tier faceless workers, okay?
Yes, exactly. They are the faceless workers who are paid a much more meaningful sum, but still not necessarily as much as would be probably fair. At least not as equitably as could be. But Marcus seems pretty happy. You can see his little desk area, which he does take you by his desk first. And his desk is very quaint. He has a nice little setup of like his work machine, and yes, he has a picture of him and Legacy at his desk. Funny enough, it is a picture of them on the night of the race, before everything went, how it went. But you have that brief moment of realization where you see Marcus in the leather coat and an outfit that you're semi-familiar with, and you're like, wait a fucking second.
So she would kind of smile at that. Yeah, he has to have a rubber duck. Everybody has to have a rubber duck up here.
Everyone, so the running gag for this floor is that everyone has a different rubber duck. So Marcus's rubber duck is the surfer duck. He has a little surfboard under his wing and a visor cap and sunglasses.
Wouldn't he like drown if he were surfing?
If Marcus were to surf, yes, but he got the surfer duck because he is the dude bro of the floor. And you can see, like, just looking around the office, like it's a mishmash of people from different walks of life.
What are these people like if Marcus is the dude, bro?
They are
Yeah,
various mishmash of people. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is like Marcus got the surfer because he is the dude bro of the floor, and he is the dude bro by just for the fact that he works out regularly. And people look at him and they're like, "You have big old cyber muscles, cyber Chad," and he's just like, "Stop." But like,
cyber Chad.
Yeah, like other people on the floor, like you have other workers who are scattered about, like a couple of like women who are on the floor, a couple other men who are on the floor, and they all have their various rubber ducks, but like every desk for everyone who works on the floor has a rubber duck. You are required to have a rubber duck,
A
and it can't match anyone else's.
custom order rubber duck.
Mm-hmm.
A
But so you have this brief moment here before like you get the kind of clear your throat cough of Marcus, take this person to the network security area. So the network security area is threefold. You have 3 different locations in the building. You have the midsection, which is the bulk of the building. You have the sub-level network security, and then you have the penthouse level network security. So the one that you're getting access to is going to be for the bulk of the building.
So while she is in this building, can she? Because I imagine she would, even if it doesn't take her all day, would kind of fuck around a little bit to like make it take most of the day, and like
Mm-hmm.
even if the boss didn't want her to, like bully some poor IT person into like, hey, my boyfriend's here. I know there's a cafeteria here. I'm gonna go have lunch with my boyfriend.
That would you're totally you're totally free to bully someone into taking you to the cafeteria.
But with that, through at least the areas that she can easily walk through or kind of like slow down and peek down a hallway, like, you know, like
Mhm.
a standard curious, never been in this building, like I'm kind of looking around. Can she get a kind of try to make a mental map, number one, and number two is try to spot any security features that she, or like security points or anything that she can obviously see at the very least?
Mm-hmm. So there's 2 things to note. Firstly, the building is built. I'm not sure quite how to describe it, but it is built in a what I imagine is a typical way that most skyscrapers are built, where there is a central transit point where you have the stairs on one wall and the multiple elevators on the opposite facing wall.
Mm-hmm.
And around the outside of the building, or the perimeter of that area, you have all of the desks. And all of the desks areas, there's typically like a leading floor manager room. There's a mishmash of desks. There is like a break area or break room or lounge, and then there are more desks, and then it turns back into the manager's office. And in and amongst those, there are larger spaces where you can have a meeting. There are other spaces where you can grab your lunch and like kind of sequester a small nook where people won't bother you. But as you are going to and from specific locations in the building, just getting the general vibe, it seems like most of the floors have that same configuration of and I can draw you a map, but it honestly doesn't look much
Yeah.
different than like a square donut.
Yeah, it's more so that she can like give the gist of the layout and the security to Lockhart, since Lockhart wants to go in the building.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So Lockhart can be at least semi-aware of all that shit.
Compare and contrast how things have changed.
Yes.
Because I
So-
imagine even though Lockhart's been here, it said that Bengetti's shit is on the lower floor, so she's not been higher up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And as you are kind of assessing where most of this is, you get a pretty strong suspicion that the major choke points on basically any floor are going to be the stairwell and the elevators, because there is no second set of elevators. This is a singular tower building. So that one major transit part in the middle is like the actual spinal cord lifeblood of the building. That is where everybody has to move through. And just, I don't even have to tell you, but just imagining Lockhart having control of that space, which is a severely physically limiting area. Like, you can only fit so many people in that area. Lockhart could very well lock down a floor and get it to where she is fighting at most like 5 or 6 people at a time.
Okay.
Yeah, and as you get lower and lower and lower on the like first, second, and third floors, in those floors the layout changes a little bit. You get into in that little shitty sketch that I drew, it would be effectively the brim of the top hat. For those floors, there is a lot more outward area, but ultimately the transit hub is about the same size. There's more standing room, but because the upper floors are built on the like basically on the rigid structure of that one elevator shaft and stairwell, there's not really a point in creating a larger standing and waiting area, because some of the elevators and stairs that go up to the higher floors cannot actually be moved. So you end up having a situation where like you're bottlenecked at how many people can move at any given point.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, like, if you describe all of this and like reiterate it to Kaya could, with a station infrastructure role, probably glean some extra information that could help.
Hey, yeah, Amy, roll.
Did you want to do that now, or?
Yeah, fuck it.
I mean, we're hand waving the company field trip day.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a loose, like a descriptive scenario so that you guys get all of the information.
Okay.
So at some point later, Legacy is reiterating and describing and regurgitating all this information back to Kaya. You know what this needs? This needs
Ouch. Oh, I should have used prep. Fuck.
You have the special ability that allows you to use prep post hoc.
Oh yeah, it's true. I rolled 2 1s. Goddamn.
That is a rough time.
2 12.
Okay, so you bump it up to an 11. Or no, you're adding that on, so you're bumping it up to a 12. So yeah, with a 12, it's not too difficult for you to parse this out. I will draw another little sketch here just so you have a vague idea. But basically, you have 2 kind of choke points, or rather, you have 2 main areas of travel. So if this is ground level.
I have a request, Joe.
Not blue.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Can you use a different color?
Pause. I got a thing. If I do this, let me get this blue line out of here.
Bring on your whiteboard.
Or blackboard. Blackboard specifically.
There we go. Blackboard. So, you have a building that looks kind of like this.
Top hat.
Yeah, see, it very much looks like a top hat.
Mhm.
So, the elevators, there are a handful of elevators. Here you have the first, second, and third floor. And up on this level, there is an elevator. Well, that sucks. That is one of the worst straight lines I've ever seen in my life. Boop. So you have one line that there is one through line, one elevator and one stairwell that runs from the first floor all the way to the top apex of the floor, because it would be a fire hazard to not have access via stairs to every floor. Additionally, you have other smaller elevator lines that only run from the first to the third floor.
For the nobodies.
Yeah, those are for the people who, if they want to take an elevator from the gym to the cafeteria. Shut up.
You laugh as if all of our lazy asses don't do that.
Then there is one other elevator that you would be aware of because you are not. You are actually not going to go on it, but there is an assumption, and I will put this one in a different blue.
Service elevator.
There is an elevator that goes to the sub-level. And that's the gist of what you can gather just by kind of like scouting with your eyes, and what you later communicate to Kaya. And I'm going to refer to this sequence as the heist sequence, because this is like information gathering and planning and execution all at the same time.
So what does Kaya find out? No. That?
Kaya, Kaya would be able to find out, or would be able to determine this exact elevator setup and like how it's kind of configured in this way. Let's see, what else was there? What was the other thing you asked?
The layout, which you've already explained, in like any security that's just like obvious, like cameras or security checkpoints or metal detectors or things like that.
Yes. Very good.
So I'm sure that there is hidden security, but she can't go diving for that right now.
So the most straightforward security is there are cameras. And
like excessive cameras, or like a camera in every corner?
Generally not excessive cameras, because let me rephrase. As you get to the higher levels, you get fewer and fewer cameras. So on Marcus's floor, there are maybe 2. On the lower floors, there are at most 1 in every, at most like 3. You have 1 near the travel area in the center of what would be the floor, and then you have 1 on opposite corners. Yes, that long white line is the ground level. So if you were looking, for example, we sketching tonight. Is what we do. So if you were looking from the top, on any given floor, you have a setup that looks something like this. It is the kind of boxy donut shape, and with a few skewed parts here and there, because the building is not a perfect rectangle. But the gist of the layout can be mapped to that donut shape. If I were to mark where cameras exist on the most of the entire structure, the most security intensive one would have a camera in one corner, the opposite corner, and then one in the travel area, so that it could see the entrance and exit to the stairwell and elevator.
It's like a fisheye.
Yeah, basically. A very, very rudimentary fisheye, such that all it needs to do is see that someone is there.
And aside from the ground floor, there's no other security checkpoints that she would have had to, like, see or go through or anything?
Correct. The only real security checkpoint is, I will mark it. There's one security checkpoint at the very front on your way in. And it is, I mean, from you walking in as a hired freelancer, security didn't stop you. You were escorted by someone. Didn't bat an eye. There are keycard access points, but Marcus, and generally what you saw from other people, Marcus was able to scan and get you in, like, so it's a little bit of a no-no, but for the ease of everyday life, plenty of people at the corporation do this. You scan your card and go through, someone else is like, ah, shit, I forgot mine in my car, and you're like, don't worry about it, and you scan your card and let them through.
Catch the
Just
door.
don't tell anybody. Mm-hmm. Now, if somebody were to check security records, they'd see that one person scanned their card twice and too many people came in and too many people came out. But that is a lot of work for somebody to do for just every single day. Unless there's a security issue, unless there is a specific reason given for someone to go back and count every single person who went in, nobody's going to really look. And that is your professional assessment legacy.
Okay.
For the sub-levels, I can tell you there were none. So, Lockhart, your part of this, as we A-frame cut to Lockhart in the corner giving advice, you would know that for the lower levels, from what you remember, security was a lot lighter, a lot less cameras, or a lot fewer cameras, and no checkpoints. There was security, and it was more intense, but less observation-y. There was a lot of sensitive work going on down there, but not a lot of people wanted it on camera.
More intense
I just realized I can talk now.
Yeah. More intense security, like patrolling security, like guards?
Yeah.
Or what does
No.
intense security mean?
More, so good question. So first let me outline, like, you have, god damn it, I can't draw straight lines. So you have 3 sub-levels. And this is a sub-level. Yeah. There. Actually, I'll just mark this as 1, 2, 3. So what was I saying? I completely lost my train of thought. So
Sub-levels.
if yes, on the sub levels, there is no security checkpoint. There is a typical key card like a turnstile, which is pretty standard. There are fewer cameras. Lockhart, I believe I said this before, but I think Venghetti's lab was on the second sub-level.
Yep.
And on the second sub-level, from what you can remember, the only camera was in the travel location. In the actual lab where all of the stuff was going on, there was no cameras in there. Or there were no cameras in there. So you would have camera, but in... Sorry, this was supposed to go. Oh. There we go. Though there would definitely be cameras on the first floor, or first sub-level as well. But as far as your memory, or as far as you can recall, the only cameras that existed on the sub-levels were the ones that were in this traveling area. There were no, like, corner cams.
So it would be like a straight line, a straight shot, essentially. So the camera could see just a long hallway, correct?
It would see basically just part of a hallway and then the doors, the elevator doors, and the stairwell. Like if you've ever seen, they don't record inside the elevators. They record the exit so they know where people get on and off. But you would also know, like, okay, so they're not going to track movement out. So the logic behind it is, as if they see you get in on one floor, they know that you cannot get out without crossing through the same sort of area. So we don't need to put cameras everywhere. So long as we can track where this person is and know the exits and entries, we know where they are going to end up.
Mm.
Kaya,
What?
you're hearing all of this in the weird, like, pseudo
Looming over a blueprint on the coffee table.
Yeah.
Everyone
I'm skipping a little bit.
back and forth, very leverage style.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. That is what this session has become. It has become leverage planning session. So you hear all of this. Roll me a station infrastructure check, and this will be at disadvantage. But you can boost it if you want.
She does have advantage.
Mm-hmm.
So would that just cancel
that
it
would
out?
cancel it out. That would just be a straight roll for you.
Okay. I would like to boost it.
I was about to say, your
Hell
prep
yeah.
fucking resets to use it.
Yeah. Can I only use one prep on a roll?
I will say that you technically you are only allowed to boost a roll once, but I will say, since Kaya is the prep person, you specifically are able to boost a roll twice, because you can boost someone else's roll as well.
So could I put 2 prep for this roll?
Sure.
Well, I swear to God, Kaya,
Swear to me.
I swear to fucking God,
Yarr. Holy shit.
much better than the multiple
Holy-
ones and then the 2 from before.
Come on. Rolo. There you go. Yeah. Sorry, Rolo is being indecisive. God! And now she's gone. I love you anyway, even though you can't make up your mind. Anyway, so with a 20, you're listening to all of this information, and you're kind of looking at the sketch of a blueprint and the bits and pieces you were able to retrieve from just public records online. Looking at the building and just getting a rough idea of it, there is one thing, and it feels a little corny, but there are air ducts that go around the cameras.
As in, like, you can get. Hold on a second.
Bless you.
You're a little early on that.
That's fine.
It's okay. Still accepted. Thank you. So you're saying that you can get around the cameras by going through the air ducts? Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm. If you wanted to, bless you, carefully squeeze yourself through the air ducts, you could avoid being on camera by going from one air duct to a different floor.
Oh my god. Do you have like a, what was it called, the N55 mask? Dust mask.
No, see, that's a Larry thing.
Larry!
He can sneak through.
Never expected the drone in the vents. Okay. Yay. I imagine that, like, Kaya says this. However, she's fully unaware of the irony and how corny it is because she's never fucking seen spy movies. It's very much like, in theory, that could work.
It's the perfect plan.
Yeah.
Larry, you have
Okay.
to download the entirety of the James Bond series.
He just plays Skyfall.
Skyfall echoing through the air vents. So, general security. So, the other thing about the sublevels. So beyond the single real security camera, there's no checkpoint. There's still a keys card turnstile, but the additional piece of security is the automated robotic security. They're very rudimentary. They are not like the oh man, what are they called?
Murder
The killer, the murder bots? Yeah, they're not like those. I can't remember the Kira models. Was that what they called?
No, they were K somethings.
K4 somethings?
K4 bots.
Murder bots.
Yes. So they don't look like those. They are a lot smaller. Those machines were a bit bulkier. So what you remember, Lockhart, is you remember a K2 drone. K2 drones look, well, for the best explanation of how they look, Ben Getty would describe them as like astromech droids with guns. They are somewhere between an astromech droid and a Dalek.
Cute, but terrifying.
So a shooting trash can. Got it.
It is exactly correct. They are like smaller than a person, about the size of a trash can. They're very, very, like, they're not mobile. They are able to go just as fast as they need to, around the corner, about 6 miles an hour when they're really hauling ass. But the really fast part of them is the bullets they shoot. but they are not patrolling. They are in a security dock. Think like a, in the same way that a Roomba has to go and sit on its little Roomba nest, there is a security dock for these automated drones. And they sit there on their security dock until there is some sort of security threshold violation. What procs the violation? Difficult to say. You've never seen it happen until the day you were fired. As far as you're aware, the obvious thing to trigger that would probably be being seen on camera. Beyond that, maybe some kind of human interface? Maybe some kind of network interface? Hard to say.
Okay. I can't think of
No,
anything
it's-
else to ask.
I'm sorry, I was just listening. I was just like, there's my typing, and I also hear Jill. There's two typings happening.
Yeah, I just hear the click clacks. Like, this is weirdly entertaining.
Hello, Hanson. How are you doing?
There we go. Let's see, what else was there? Oh, for their network security. Assessing the strength of the network before you had kind of dulled it down. On a scale of 1 to 10, it would be a 7, but you knocked it down 2 points to a 5. A 5 on network security puts it on effectively like the kind of network security you would get at a mall or an average.
I swear, I was thinking mall security because I was like, that would be
Yep.
funny. Actually,
Paul Blart. Mall cop.
I was
Yeah, it's
hacking
like-
this shit when I was a teenager because I wanted some extra time in Hot Topic, okay?
Yeah, no, you 100% you kicked it down to like a private Wi-Fi network at like a mall shop. It like something way below where it was before. At a 7, it was like a private company with a dedicated network security team. But I will tell you, on a functional level, just from what you see as a capable network, this is a corporation that has, like, the network security team, they don't have network security incidents. This is not a crack squad of, you know, like, legendary kick-ass people who are at the beck and call of Tetsuo. This is like a group of, you know, vaguely young 22, maybe at the oldest early 50s-ish kind of people who are really good at what they do, but nobody really tests the mettle of Tetsuo's network security. They are a name, and they have legal power. So the idea of trying to test them is more of a fuck around and find out kind of thing, where people don't want to fuck around, so they don't find out just in case. And
Surprise!
yeah, you get the distinct impression that you're like, if you if you had a really, really dedicated group of people, you could fuck up a corporation really, really badly before they have a chance to really react. And it also kind of lends itself to the implication of, or that also lends itself to part of the reason as to why they were willing to hire a freelance person to come in and do this, because the rest of the team, they kind of already done what they did, and they're like, they're not worried about it. They don't have to be worried about it. Who's gonna hack Tetsuo?
Sorry, I blanked for a bit. Was there anything besides the, like, their common name, who's gonna hack Tetsuo vibe of it on the network? Besides
Basically,
it
yes,
becoming now
yeah.
Mall?
No, that's
Okay.
basically it. Like, you
Okay.
just from a functional level, it could be more secure. Like, Tetsuo has capabilities in place that could make it more secure,
Okay.
but it isn't, because they kind of just don't need to be. They're like, if they really wanted to, they could really shore up their defenses and make it a 9 out of 10, but nobody really tries them, so they're like, we're good with a 7. There is almost like a passive assumption amongst the people who work there that if anybody does try to hack them, they will at least be able to retaliate and get a hold of that person's information to deal with them in the long term, and through some long drawn out painful legal battle.
Okay.
I'm going to
It's
bring
like,
so many stupid IT boys, whole world.
they're gonna... okay, so it's kind of like Disney copyright, but with hacking.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Exactly that. It's like the hubris of like, nobody's gonna do that. Obviously, we've already done it, sort of thing, right? Because we would have already obviously done it. And then they find out that somebody's filed for a motion to copyright the name Mickey Mouse, and they're like, fuck, somebody find him.
Fucking kill him.
So, Legacy, roll me 2d6 for an unluck check.
Can I put prep on a luck check?
Not this one.
Fuck you, man.
Okay, an 8. There is a moment during your stint in the network security office. That is another thing I should highlight. I should highlight the network security zones, so to speak. So you have the top zone, and then you have the bottom zone. Hey. See. So, while you are kind of exploring the capabilities of the system and kind of testing the water with what they have, you come to learn that there is more here than you would have expected, but like it's not being utilized in the same way that people aren't utilizing 100% of their resources at any given time, because you kind of don't need to. So were Tetsuo Security going to step on the gas, they could rocket up from a 7 to a 9, but only if, everyone in network security was all hands on deck. And as you're getting to that assessment, there's a brief moment where a person walks over, an IT worker, who quietly tries to. You get the vibe that they're starting to sort of mansplain some shit to you before you give them a very, very unimpressed sidelong look, and they skitter away. If you had rolled 7 or lower, I was gonna make you have to deal with the most annoying piece of shit NPC.
I imagine she has been in the hacking realm long enough that she has dealt with more than her fair share of annoying IT bros.
Oh yeah.
So she has a backup plan in her pocket when she has to deal with them. Just fucking shame them immediately into the ground. Talk about just the fucking like evolution of a singular program and a singular security bit from like its origin in like the 1990s, which nobody fucking remembers anymore, and then prove that the entire thing is shit, and that's what you're using. Surprise, surprise. Too bad, so sad. This is why you hired me.
Perfect. And you have deftly avoided one of nature's worst creatures, the neckbeard. Were there any other security things to check before you finish your quote-unquote freelance work?
I mean, if there's only one like physical security place, then I don't think she would. She knows she is not a spy. Like, she is not meant to do the shit that like Neon would pull off. So her figuring out where the cameras are positioned when there are cameras is about the extent of what she can offer. And then like,
so
I imagine just by like sheer deductive reasoning that she would know how high up her access point would be, like what level that cutoff is for the middle section.
Yes. So you would be able to, like, with a quote-unquote security clearance that you have access to at this point, with the one that you kind of ensured that you'll have access to later, you would be able to access anything on these floors. Additionally, you would be able to access the cameras on the sub-levels and the digital archive. There is a physical component to the archive, but you'd be able to access the digital portion only. Beyond that, you would not be able to access anything on the lower levels without attempting to hack into it. Unless you wanted to try some spy shit now.
No, she is not putting herself at risk when she is there alone with Marcus, and like putting him at risk too in the moment.
Can I get a little bit of a replay on what she can access?
Yes. Legacy can access all of the cameras, as well as any part of the network and information flowing through the network.
On B and C.
On B and C, as the only thing she cannot access on C are the security drones. At least not directly. You could bouncing, what did I call it?
Jumping jack.
Jumping jack. You could jumping jack to it. But
yeah,
directly,
especially
no.
Since I have jumping jack and also I have the nice little I can hack bots.
Mm-hmm. Precisely.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, then if there's nothing else that on the docket for this, you have successfully infiltrated and gotten a lowdown of their IT setup.
Once she figures out what she can do with full dive, she'll also know how much of the hacking hacking army she needs to tap on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
So I will take a snippet of this nightmare sketch and post it here just in case you don't have it, Amy. 'Cause I'm
I
gonna
have it
delete
in the OneNote.
Nice.
See, now
Thank
I'm
you,
just
thank you.
imagining managing to hack the sub-level drones and be like, okay, do you want another army?
Oh my god.
Let Larry take care of all the mini Larrys. You have a bunch of drones with guns.
To be fair, she can give Larry a gun.
I don't think she's going to, though.
You never know. He's getting smarter and smarter every day.
Ah, so he will figure out how to use a gun himself.
She hands him a gun. It's like, here.
Larry spontaneously picks up like a fucking like nail gun and is like, haha, I will use this. So I would say I'd give the new army of drones to Lockhart, but I think she would not like that. She'd prefer to punch.
I need a little bit more water because I am very thirsty. Give
Okay.
me a moment.
Alright, well, I gotta pee anyway, so I'll be right back.
I guess I'll go grab a drink then. Be right back. I am returned as well.
Oh, let me tell you guys how we got the cakes earlier. So that was a little funny.
Ah, okay.
Hello.
Hello again. Let's see. Okay, let me look at this priority list here.
Look at Joe trying to get his shit together.
I'm trying to cross off things that you guys have been asking for a while, because it's only fair. So, in the background of the other events going on, we're going to move to the next story beat here. And we'll say while this is happening, Lockhart and Legacy can be doing some background work. Legacy working on getting the Laughing Girl sunglasses to cooperate so that they do exactly what you hope for them to do. And Lockhart training Marcus and Sprite for a little bit of group fighting tactics. Both against a group and with a group fighting tactics.
Less injuries all around.
Yes.
Ideally.
Yes. So, Kaya.
Hello.
There is something that has been on your list for a long time that I don't think we have crossed off yet. But there's one thing I want to do before we get to that one, actually. Since we're here.
Okay, hold on.
Go.
Wait, give me 1 second.
Yes.
All right, hold on. I just want to put on that Legacy works on the sunglasses, and Lockhart trains with Marcus and Sprite.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. I just want to write that down.
Nice. So many days, weeks ago at this point, I can't remember in game how long it's been, but I think it's been weeks.
Probably. I don't know.
But a while ago, you had come into possession of some unfortunate additional Larrys. And you hadn't really set aside like or not really set aside time for it, but rather like you hadn't really thought about what you could do in regards to them. So now would be the closest to opportune time you have to address them. So in this moment, I will say that you can be wherever you like physically, and anyone you want to be there with you, Legacy or Lockhart or any other NPCs you feel appropriate, can also be there with you. But I think this is the best. I think during this downtime, you have the opportunity to talk to them, more or less.
To the Larrys? Mini
Yeah.
Larrys?
To the other Larrys.
Okay. I feel like she would probably want like Legacy there because of their conversation like they had about them. Probably just like in the vicinity probably.
Did she
and I
explain
mean-
to Larry what she was going to be doing?
Oh, but she will. But there's more so like the quote unquote cast in the scene. Like, I mean, she'd be down to have both Legacy and, I mean, Lockhart's not busy, that'd be nice.
So Legacy and Lockhart will have the whole
Just
the
the squad.
The gang's all here, the squad.
Mm-hmm.
My music
Yeah.
no go.
Gilbert? I'm debating if she'd, because, to invite Bengetti or to not invite Bengetti?
Huh.
That is the question. He caused this, yes. Yes, he did.
I'm gonna be real here. Legacy would
I don't
say
think
having
so.
him around would be a bad idea right now because he's the one that
Yeah.
kind of tortured them.
Yeah.
Not that they can see through a screen, but
Mm-hmm.
you never know
Be
what
like,
they do know.
Exactly. So like, as much as she would like to have like another person to like bounce ideas off of, not a good idea. And of course, Larry. She probably just also took the time to explain to Larry of like what this is and how they're gonna try and figure out what to do here.
This is you, but not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Imagine she explains to Larry as she's making a fresh pot of coffee. Because she's gonna need it.
Larry sits and is listening attentively. Larry is generally, or I was gonna say generally quiet. More like Larry goes through phases of quiet and then incredibly potent but short-spoken words. And in this moment, he is quiet, but it's not like his normal listening passively, kind of absorbing. This is more like his listening and absorbing, but there is a more apparent thoughtfulness in his demeanor, despite his demeanor being very limited to just like a little box. I assume you were also all in the she unit.
The what?
Sorry, that's a holdover from a name that I said she unit,
Mhm.
SHE unit. That is a holdover name that we used to call Claire's old apartment.
Oh. I mean, it was all girl fucking
Yeah,
roommates.
exactly. That's what Claire's was too. It was the she unit because it's all girls.
That's awesome. Yeah.
But how do you want to address the Larrys? Because you have two ways. Well, not explicitly two, but there's two kinds of like broad ideas that you could do this with. You could address them one at a time in a digital format, as in like on a computer, open up their effectively consciousness and talk to them that way. Or you could address them more physically by giving them some sort of physical form and putting the consciousness into that form. And that physical form can be whatever you like. It can be a spare set of parts you have lying around, or it could be one of the several mini Larrys that you want to use, because I know that was one of the ideas you had.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking now, Joe. I think you mentioned this before, even though I've never just a while ago. Yeah, this this was something on the back burner for fucking months, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Could Kaya have essentially recreated the mini Larry? Because how I imagine the mini Larrys operate is that it's just ISP modules, just slapped onto some perf boards. So
Dumb it down for Joe.
it's okay, if Larry is an authentic Japanese ramen, an ISP and a perf board is fucking instant noodle.
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay. It's something that does the bare minimum. It does what it's supposed to. It's pre-programmed. It's just, hey, slap this onto there. It's not customized at all. But it does its purpose very cheaply, very uniformly. Could Kai have taken the time to essentially make it a new set of mini Larrys and essentially make them all, rather than instant cup noodles, a smaller portion of ramen? Authentic, really, sound, use actual, not a perf board, but an actual fucking, motherboard. And, not using ISP modules at all, but using an actual, chip and shit like that. Fucking Arduinos, rather than an ISP module.
Yeah. So I'll say, just for the sake of time that has, in-game has passed, you don't actually have to roll for any of that manufacturing and jury-rigging that you would do. You can just have all of that done, and today would be the day that you have put the last bit of spit and polish on all of these different forms.
They're different colored. They're not all the same.
But they are all of a same form factor where they all kind of levitate. Okay. Yeah, you can.
It's like the rubber ducks in the offices, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to interrupt your thing, but can I voice what Legacy would have voiced if you came to her with this?
Yes.
What the plan was? She would very much caution, if you're putting them in the layer, mini Larrys, that's fine, but she was if you're putting them into a physical form, one at a time.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
Just if we have random one pops up murder bot, we would need to fucking figure that shit out on its own before we deal with having 8 of them all at the same time.
She probably has them all lined up, ready to go, and they are all charging. They're all
Mhm.
very low battery, so like even if they did, they wouldn't get. Even if they did like manage to like murderbot escape, they would not last long.
Mm-hmm.
And they'd be like, you know, time getting sleepy, time to go to take a nap, you know, aka recharge.
I will say with that bit of advice from Legacy that you would have you've taken to heart, and with the design that you would have had many hours of forethought to put into, you can very easily put enough put enough of a restraint on these smaller form Larrys such that if they start to get out of control, the worst they can do is pinch you for a few minutes.
They small.
They small, and there's no active Wi-Fi or transmission module or antenna. There's no connector or any sort of port. So these are very rudimentary.
Baby proof.
Baby proofed.
Even with that, like I say, just like straight up be like, if I'm here and one of them does go crazy, even if it's just pinching me, I'm punting the bitch. I don't punt Larry. I'm gonna punt these fuckers.
Look of like maternal rage that she just like quickly just like stamps out. Like, no, you got a point. Still, don't fucking do that. You
If
fucking
it's
kidding me?
going crazy, it's getting punted.
It's got like 1 psi, not even. For
It's
like 30
getting
seconds at most.
punted.
All you'll need to do is pull them away.
Exactly. Just push them. You know? Hold them up. They're the size of a fucking cupcake, alright? They can't do much.
They're very cute. In the same way that like you see like a little remote control quadcopter at a mall. They look like that, I imagine, with little grippers.
Yeah. Complete with like little emoji face. LED screen. I imagine she fucking gutted the tiny little screen Larry's got as like a custom LCD screen.
Mm-hmm.
But for these, she probably like got
Fucking phone screens.
broken. Yeah, no, I was gonna say yeah, phone screens or like smartwatch screens.
Perfect.
Just
Mhm.
fucking the screen from an old school like Motorola.
Yeah, all that shit. But she's like, okay, fine. And she'll fucking get her fucking computer, get the fucking hard drive out, line up all the Larrys on the coffee table.
Youngest one is probably gonna be the least crazy.
Yeah, okay. Youngest one. She says as she like sits down on the couch.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but there were 5, right?
I think.
Yeah.
Are they?
5 with like one that like the youngest one was like a couple months old, had been running for the equivalent of a couple months, and one that was like decades.
No, there was one that was literally just refreshed, right?
Yeah, there was one that was just reset, so it is effectively 0. You have one that's I believe there was one that was a few days old. There was one that was a year old, and then there was one of them that was like 100 years old or so.
Trying to find.
Legacy wants to hold Larry.
You want to hold Larry?
Yes.
Okay, Legacy can hold Larry. I'm looking. Man, the word coffee is used a lot.
Yeah.
Look for the word 5 or the number 5.
Smart. Oh, I think I've approached. Hold on. Is this it?
Oh. While you are looking for that, give me like 2 minutes.
It's session 24, by the way.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Where
Oh,
did I
wait.
find-
Sorry, it might be the session before that. Sorry.
Well, it's closer to where it is than
Yeah.
the entire list.
Mhm.
Mm. So I was looking at it, and that's when Haya compares what's happening to Maxine to the Larry copies.
Cause I know there was like a little bit written about each like one. I think.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's 23.
That's what I was wanting to do when I got home. Okay. My brain just had a fucking 4-hour reset. Thought about doing something like before I left work, like, yeah, that'll be something I need to do. Completely forgot until this exact moment.
Ooh.
Aaron, I was gonna tell you. Iris,
Hmm.
do you like zoos?
Zoos?
Yes.
I haven't been to one since, like, 6th grade.
If you have any desire to go to a zoo, you need to pester boyfriend. Because there's the Atlanta Zoo, and the Atlanta Zoo is a very good zoo. Number one. And number two, it's like one of the only places that still has pandas, because all the pandas are like loaned from China. And the pandas are, if I'm not mistaken, the thing I read the other day, the loan ends and has not been renewed. So at some point next year, no more pandas at the Atlanta Zoo.
Oh, okay.
Which is sad, because it's like one of the places that's had pandas for fucking ever. It has been like one of the only places in the US that they've been like successful in breeding pandas. We've had a lot of panda babies.
Hey.
I'm back. Sorry. I had to help Claire.
No problem,
Hi,
Bob.
Claire.
She's upstairs. I had to get the warmie.
Fucker. You just need
So-
to assume if you have to go talk to Claire, you have to say, and the server says hi. Because we say hi every time we hear about her moving around or doing something.
Mhm.
You know what? That's fair. Server says hi is very cute.
Yeah.
So, did you
Yeah, I
find
think
it in the
so.
notes? There were 5?
Fucking no, but I remember. I think there was 5, because I remember you making me roll a d8 and I got a 5.
Yeah, I'm almost positive there was 5 because that's what I have been remembering this entire time.
Okay, well, on session 22, 8, 16, 22, Joe had Amy roll a d8, rolled a 5 for this many things made.
Hey.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I see it now.
Mhm.
Nice.
I remember you putting that note at the end of session. So,
Mhm. A. Yes, there's 5 of them. Youngest first, I guess. You know, youngest is like a blank slate, right?
Mm-hmm. Youngest is a blank slate.
Hey,
Mhm.
that
And then you
means there's
have-
another one that's completely able to be corrupted by legacy.
No.
Oh,
Yes.
No.
So you effectively upload this version of Larry into a fresh mini Larry. And yeah, there's a moment where you're just kind of like almost overly anxious, trying to make sure that you didn't accidentally copy paste quote unquote, when you should have like cut paste or moved. But you successfully transfer what is the source code and like consciousness of the 0th Larry over, or rather the first Larry, because the 0th is the original, I guess. And you flip on the Larry, and after a moment, the little Larry screen lights up, and it is small, so it's a little bit less easy to tell, but you see the screen come on, and the little like Larry face activate, and he gets his trademark smile and floats up and just kind of sits at attention, not in a militaristic way, but in like a just kind of floating around, doesn't know what to do, doesn't have any sort of motivation.
Kind of like a puppy.
Yeah. He floats there and kind of lists to the side and lists to one side and then lists to the other. And Larry floats over. Who's that?
Does Larry say that?
Mm-hmm. The actual Larry.
Yeah. But he already knows what's happening, right?
Yeah. You know what? That's fair.
Okay. I was about to say, like, wait, did he not retain any of that?
That's totally fair.
Okay.
So he would say in a different intonation the same phrase of, "Who's that?"
Imagine Kai is just like staring at this thing, and there's like a bit of like hesitation and like, oh god, like it's this mix of like she didn't want to make copies. However, there's still that like spark of like joy of like something that she made essentially, and there's like there's more of them. It's like this is a new thing, but it's the same, but it's different. It's completely new. This is an entirely new thing based off of Larry's source code. And it's just a weird mix of like, this shouldn't have ever happened and I wish it didn't, but also like this is a chance for something really, really great and cool. And that's kind of just like battling back and forth on her face right now as she just like holds up a hand and like awkward like little like wave towards the mini Larry. It's like, I don't know yet.
Laszlo. Leo? We're going with all names?
Sure.
Like we need more L names in this party.
You know, we don't. You're right. We don't need. Was that Iris or Lockhart?
That was Iris. That was Iris.
You were saying it low and I couldn't tell.
It. Yeah, I was mumbling it.
Leopold. George.
George? Which one do you think? Because like, we don't gotta stick to L names. That'd probably be like pretty confusing.
Junior.
Junior?
Well, I'm gonna point out right now, there's a lot of them, so you can't have like junior or junior. That'll fuck us up real fast. You know what? Larry, pick two names.
You could go with some sort of numbering system.
But that's not a name. That's like numbers.
I have an idea.
20.
Is that okay? Now we're gonna have to be like, is this Larry that's just randomly piping shit? Like,
Yes.
okay.
Okay.
Well, you said what? Leopold George leans forward on the couch, holds up 2 fingers, one on each hand in front of the little bot. It's like, you understand me, right?
The little bot like looks at you and then looks at your hands and then looks at you and smiles.
Okay. I'm gonna take that as a yes. She wiggles like one finger. This is George. And then wiggles the other one. This is Leopold. Which one do you want?
Looks at your fingers and then it looks at you and smiles.
Hey,
Dummy.
is that Larry?
That's Larry.
Larry.
It took Larry a while to fucking learn language. So he's the
Larry.
only one talking right now.
Yeah, he's like, fucking Larry. What the fuck?
Larry, this is what you were like for the first, like, 3 weeks that you were sentient.
Yeah, he's not, dummy. He's just a baby.
Larry seems to consider this
No,
being
like,
a baby before you are considered a dummy.
like, no, you're. Let's go with Leo.
Okay.
Leo. The little bot like looks at Larry. And Kaya, roll me 1d6 plus your drone handling bonus. Or drone use, there it is.
Careful, they're gonna start making their own language.
Oh, it's fucking too late for that, I'm sure.
5.
The gesture is meant to represent the tilt of the head. But Leo doesn't have a neck. So his whole body turns to the left. But there is like something in there.
Hey. She like waves and like leans forward a bit in her seat. Hi, Leo. Well, Leopold Leo for sure. I'm gonna be calling you Leo.
Leo. Larry grabs Leo and like
Be
pulls
careful
him
with
close
him.
to his face.
Like, Larry, you gotta be careful, alright?
He looks at you and tilts his head. He can't feel.
Well, still, you don't want to break him.
He tilts Leo to the side. Leo, mind you, is perfectly still. Like, no recognition, just kind of vibing.
An infant existing.
Yeah. And Larry turns Leo so that the broadest part of the top of the casing to the drone is facing you. And Larry, like, pats it with one of his manipulators and says, "Mark it. Marker."
Maka, yeah. I think I gotta... Okay, it's kind of stupid, but she's gonna pull out. Yeah. No, this is even stupider. It's actually really dorky now that I think about it. You know those, like, little hello, my name is?
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah. Hello, my name is Leo.
Yeah. I imagine she got, like, little ones.
That's perfect.
Wow.
But yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the guy just fucking, like, breaks out that little sticker sheet that she got to custom make and print. The hello, my name is, and she writes in Leo.
That's perfect.
Watching this interaction and will, like, lean over to Lockhart where fucking Kaya and the drones cannot hear her. She's like, so you think this is gonna be a sibling thing or a pet thing for Larry?
more thinking that I'm more surprised that she doesn't think she's a mother still.
That's gonna be an eternal fight with her.
I imagine it's like on the other side from the view of Lockhart and Legacy, they see what would equate to a mom having her fucking child, 6-year-old, 7-year-old child hold their newborn sibling
Yep.
for the first time.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep, it's exactly it. What's happening, but in drone form.
So you
So
have
write
the
Leo and put the
new
little sticker
Leo.
on him. Yeah.
You slap a "Hello, my name is," and in Kaya's handwriting,
Leo.
Leo. Leo.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Put a sticker on. I'm like, okay, cool. Cool. Hi. Leo. We got a lot to learn. We should probably, two of yous. You know, we got Legacy, we got Lockhart, you know, Legs Lock, you know, them over there. Whisper. What the fuck are y'all whispering about?
Don't worry about it.
Nothing important.
I don't
Gimme.
like that the two of yous both, like, said that.
Who cares? You don't like a lot of things. Gimme.
Don't you
Like,
have enough to deal
Larry hands you Leopold.
Hi, Leo.
Leo looks at you with a half-empty stare. There is a little bit of head empty, but a little bit of head not empty. But he doesn't really react.
How? Do we have, like, a spare iPad or something?
Sure.
Can we pull up, like, a toddler learning app?
Just start projecting like basic like words in front of them.
Yeah, just sit him down with, like, a little toddler iPad learning app.
A is for apple.
A is for apple. Apple. P is for bear. Bear.
You grab one of the. I imagine Kaya and Legacy both probably have several throwaway iPads from various generations across the years.
Yeah.
So you just grab one that's in probably one of those like OtterBox like shock resistant cases. And you
Put it on the side
quickly
table.
rapid fire. You
Yeah.
install like 5 or 6 PBS Learning Kids apps.
Yep. Gets a little stand for it. Gets like a little, like, I don't know, a little, like, box that he can use as a chair.
Perfect.
Gonna make
Yeah,
a
it's
classroom
like-
on the coffee table.
Exactly. Like, hold on, look. How does Legacy look when she fucking gets a hold of Leo?
At least she is like careful with him in a way that she is generally not with Larry. Because she knows what Larry is capable of taking.
Mm-hmm.
And Larry is usually a willing participant, so she's not like she's a little bit more careful. And when she like lifts it up to like be like eye level, just like in the palm of her hands, like, "Hi, Leo," and she's kind of considering it, like not full gremlin mode. Like there's hamster wheels turning.
Yeah, Kai doesn't like that. Those hamster wheels need to stop turning.
Is more of like, hey, this is like pocket-sized drone. This is like my size drone.
Like, okay, yeah, and you know that's Legacy, and there's Lockhart. She's like pointing.
I don't think he fully understands everything yet.
There's only one way for him to learn, you know.
I think there's more going on behind the fucking screen than you would think, considering the number of words that came out of Larry when he started talking.
Yeah. Exactly. So I like to just,
And Larry, first night of existence, did learn rock, paper, scissors. So Lockhart
The
and
more you
Legacy
guys
is not too hard.
the more you guys converse, the more you like just passively out of the corner of your eye, you see like it's a very simple screen, but the face of Leo starts to very, very subtly emote this like slightly different faces. Rather than the head empty smile, you kind of get like a furrowed brow and a as close as you can get to pensive or thoughtful in the form of like basic emojis. Yeah, like I'm imagining this is like the screen from a Nokia. So like it's very rudimentary, but through the pixels you can kind of see the face of thoughtfulness between two eyes and a mouth.
We go from like 3 characters to make a face to like all of a sudden there's 5.
Mm.
You got the like hug emojis, the flip cable emoji.
Yes. Here, Kai just kind of like gestures to like give back.
There is just a split second of like this like expression on Legacy's face of like, no, I don't think so, and slowly gives back.
Okay. She just carefully hold in her hands.
You realize if you're gonna baby the new ones, that gives me more freedom and right to corrupt Big Larry. You must choose your losing battle, Kaya.
You're not gonna corrupt anyone, alright?
That's what you think. I've already corrupted you.
The fuck are you talking about? Well, whatever, just... Just gonna take Leo. I was like, alright, Leo. Got an idea for you. Help you get up to speed a little bit so that you can, talk to us.
You
Just
get the
pop him
like
down.
you get this kind of face.
Yeah, so here, I got a couple of like apps for you to like look through. And she like sits him down and like I imagine it's like I don't know, a small box for like bolts that she sits him down on in front of like the iPad on the stand. It's like, yeah, cool. So you can just like touch the screen here and it'll just show you some videos and stuff to help like explain things to you so you can I don't learn how to better communicate with us so that you can, talk to us and I don't tell us what you're thinking. What?
Continue. I'm
Okay.
muttering to myself.
Okay.
So as you set Leo down and they start to futz around on the screen.
She did put it in child safety mode, by the way.
Perfect.
Just let it be known.
Let it be known.
Let it be known. It is in child safety mode.
You see Leo start to like poke at various options. And then after a minute, Leo just kind of starts playing around on the app. Making not a lot of progress, but getting there.
Yeah. Toddler app. Let's go. All right.
So,
well,
1 out of 5 is not a murder bot. Let's go for 2 out of 5.
Let's go for 2. Sets him like any person. You set the toddler down with the iPad. Breathe a sigh of relief. Okay, they're entertained. Pulls out the second one.
Perhaps it would be faster if we started with the oldest.
I'll be real with you here. That the concept of the oldest one is a little terrifying. Not looking forward to him.
We'll just.
I'm more
Oh.
just saying it'd be nice to be able to have a more consistent conversation to start getting points across.
Well, the
Well,
next
we-
one up is closer to Larry. 'Cause Larry's only been, what, a couple months?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like this one was just, baby, because,
Oh, no, you can have a
Anyway.
conversation with Larry, right, Larry?
Larry looks at you and then nods affirmatively, like, talking. Talking is easy.
See?
easy peasy. Nod. Okay, like, what's the... let me look up the age on, like, the next oldest. What are the ages, Joe?
So,
A reset, a couple of months, a couple of years, like 100 years old. So there
Okay.
has to be a different one somewhere in there as the fifth one.
yeah, I think the 100-year-old one was the eldest,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and I think it was like a couple months, 1 year, or
Reset,
so,
couple months,
yeah.
1 year.
Okay.
week, months, 1 year. Yeah, I think that was it.
Okay. Alright, let's
Okay,
go
so
with...
like the few months would be equivalent to our Larry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have two that are effectively close to what you already have as Larry.
Okay. So, like, a week, I feel like what we can do here is the week, and then just
Mhm.
pop them on the iPad as well.
Yeah, because the week
Yep.
would be
Probably,
like
yes.
old enough to like essentially have like the emoticons now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Kaya will pull up the week and put it into the next one. She has already prepped a hello, my name is, but she hasn't written on it yet.
And as the other name that was like generally acceptable that Larry said, that one's George.
That one's George? Okay,
Yeah.
this one's George.
George.
She writes George.
So, you boot up that one, and much in the same way, it like activates, kind of head empty smile. But when it becomes like fully online, and you see the boot sequence is finished, it looks around, and it looks at you, and then tilts its head.
Hi, George.
George.
Yeah,
That was Larry.
George. That's your name. I got a little sticker for you, so everyone can know your name.
In a very, very scratchy, like, and this is as a result of the technology it is encased in a very, very scratchy speaker, you hear, George.
Yeah, that's you, bud. Look, I got a little hold still for a sec. She puts the little name tag on him. Hello, my name is George.
You stick the name tag on top, and George just sits there, unmoved.
Ooh,
Larry floats over and grabs George and pulls George close to his face to examine George.
George, it's Larry. I'm Kaya. Got legs and Locke here.
He just is more or less in the middle of being examined by Larry. But he does visibly respond to the words at the very least.
Imagine, Legacy has gotten a beer. She does not drink beer very often, but this felt like a low-level alcohol content, but still alcohol needed night. So she has a beer, probably got one for Lockhart too. Just kind of
Every
like
time,
sips it.
every time Kaya turns one on, you're just like, congratulations, it's a boy.
Looks at Lockhart. So that's 2 the Larry's name. I guess you're up for the next one.
Oh boy, I hadn't thought about that. Fuck.
Well, you're going to
I
be
think I'll
Auntie
pass.
Lockhart. You have to know.
Auntie?
Larry says, Auntie.
I mean, you could be Uncle if you would prefer, but
Just a look. Like, really?
Larry says, Uncle? More testing the waters, like, is that what you want?
It's just Lockhart.
Auntie.
Lockie.
That works too.
Won't work. If you must.
You just got peer
Next
pressured
one.
by a robot. How's it feel?
Lockhart doesn't deign that with response.
Look, I have to be a little shit. It's been a long time since I played Legacy. It's been a month.
Honestly, I'm impressed. You managed to get her to agree to that.
Oh.
Good job, bud.
That was gonna be easier than you finally accepting Mom.
She's very busy setting George up on another little this time his little box of screws to sit down.
Just like as you're doing that, I suppose there's a lot of other options beyond just Mom. Mama. Really don't think Mommy works.
Anyway, look, George, Leo, look, this is George, you know?
Leo and George look at each other, and George looks at Leo and says, George. And then Larry floats over and then points at George and says, You're George. And then he points at Leo and says, Leo. And then points at George. George. Leo. George. George points at Leo. Leo.
Yes! Yeah!
And then Larry, like, pantomimes a clap. And there's a little tink.
Cool. Alright, awesome. Okay, George, you're gonna be sitting with Leo here. I got this, like, little, thing set up for you, for the 2 of you, so that you guys can, learn to, so that you can communicate better. Anyway, here, see here? And the 2 of you can, play on this.
George floats over and, like, sits right next to Leo and begins absorbing the alphabet.
K is for kangaroo. Kangaroo. I'm sorry, this is a legit song my brothers played so much. That's how they learned their alphabet. That song and animation.
Legacy, meanwhile, still on her bullshit, has like now turned to Lockhart. Yeah, if Larry can manage like the British accent or some shit, something close to like what you do, just call her mum.
I think Mom or Mother is fine. It is what she is. Whatever they call her, then she'll find it in the video.
Oh, he already calls her Mom. Don't tell her that though.
Wait, what are you guys talking about?
Again, don't worry about it.
Nothing important.
Larry shakes your shoulder and goes, Next.
Yeah, okay. All right. We got the next one.
What are you
Point.
calling it, Lockie?
Lock. Kaya has the fucking next name tag ready with her red pen.
God damn it, you're making me look up a name generator.
All you have to do is like generic boy names.
Yeah. Or it's an AI. Gender. What's gender?
Mm-hmm.
Wait a second. Why is this just want names? Give me names. Generate. Generate.
Did you misspell that on purpose?
What?
George.
Jiragi.
Oh, yeah. I did not misspell that on purpose. When I was typing it in, I wasn't able to see the entire text box because it was small for Leo. So I just like extended it and then took a screenshot.
I choose to believe that Kaya like looks at George's name tag and just goes, "Ah," and then just starts scribbling out Garog.
There we go, George.
What about Theodore?
Theo, okay.
Theodore? Yeah, Theodore. Theo. Cool. She'll fucking boot up the next one. This one's a couple months old.
Okay, so
Literally
this one
typing, you
turns
spelled
on.
George wrong, by the way.
Huh?
I'm typing, you spelled George wrong.
Give me a
I'm
break.
waiting. I was waiting for you to be like, shit. So you turn this one on. This one being more comparable in age to the current Larry. It turns on, and there is a noticeable difference in the body language from the other two to this one. As this one turns on, its face is not a kind of head empty smile. It is blank, like emotionless, flat. And as it comes on and the photoreceptors start to engage, as the sensors come on and it starts to pick up information of its surroundings, you can see the face start to animate in more confusion. And it looks around and then slowly lifts off the ground. And it does like a 360. Not dark.
No. Not. It's not dark anymore. Hi. I'm Kaya, and are you cool with, your name being Theo?
Larry
Theodore.
floats up and holds out both
Theodore.
hands and says, I'm Larry. And the thing that you don't know the name of yet, it looks confused and it reaches out its manipulators, not in a like reaching out towards Larry gesture, but more like reaching them out to look at them, like when you look at your own hands, kind of like marveling at them. And it says, Hand?
Yeah, you got 'em. Those are yours.
Where am I?
You're home. You're in. Well, this is where we live. It's a Common Adams Ward, if you're familiar with it.
There's a pause, and you see it start to. It looks at you in like a kind of passive, blank regard, and then there's a moment where its goes from looking to you or looking at you, Kaya, to looking past you, and it starts to rattle off statistics about Adams Ward. It rattles off population dynamics, square footage, construction time, number of buildings, approximate population, approximate percentage breakdown of the population, like a very, very thorough and increasingly more niche detail breakdown of information.
So this one ate a statistics encyclopedia.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that's all correct. I assume so.
It stops partway through and then it looks at you and then looks at Larry and then looks at Legacy and then looks at Lockhart.
Just wave.
And there is it similarly to how the previous ones just kind of looked at you like that gesture doesn't mean anything to me. It looks at you with the same sort of blank stare, like it doesn't know what a hand wave means.
Just kind of pauses, hand still in the air, tilts her head. Do you know what a greeting is?
It pauses and rattles off the dictionary definition of home.
Of home?
Yes, which is something Kaya said before it rattled off a bunch of statistics. Kaya said, "You're home."
Okay,
Is
we got
some sort of correlation thing.
Larry's looks at it and does the gesture of hands on hips and says, "Not dumb, but not smart."
I think it's getting some network lag or some shit trying to figure out its way around encyclopedias and dictionaries.
Yeah. Probably it's he's
Roll me a drone use check, Kaya. A normal drone use check with your clever.
I'd like to use a boost on this
You may.
because I'm very invested.
With a 17, you're able to glean that what most likely happened with this particular model, this one was probably fed only a very, very specific band of information. And so it doesn't know anything but what it was fed, and only little pieces outside of that realm of knowledge. It knows a lot about Adams Ward.
Okay. She rubs the side of her head for a second. She thinks of how do I go about this?
This,
how do I
to give you an idea, this is somehow it would be like being able to do advanced calculus but not know your ABCs past D.
It's like the equivalent of and this is not a direct one-to-one, but very close to a person that might be an autistic savant.
Mm-hmm.
That may not know how to do some of the basics that's needed for living, but can play a fucking full, like, everything from Mozart perfectly.
Yes, they are. This Larry is developmentally both in one area in a lot of different ways, but extremely developed and intelligent in another area. You kind of start, as you start to think about this, you kind of start putting together the pieces of this was part of Ben Getty's experiment, seeing what he could teach it while not giving it every bit of context for everything.
Give it Wikipedia.
Basically give it a Wikipedia, but only one section of Wikipedia.
Okay.
I don't think this one needs to learn its ABCs, Kai. I think this one might need a, like, I don't know, you got anything for third graders?
For fucking special third graders, Kaya, who has had a very interesting experience with school.
Not your version of third grade. Our
Yeah,
version
she's
of
just
third
like,
grade.
that's what she thinks of. It's like,
I imagine there's like, as I see this, like, fucking, as Legacy sees the steam start, just like blinks, and we'll say that. Not your third grade, like our third grade, like gestures to herself and Lockhart. It's like normal third grade.
What's in a normal third grade?
You know what? Just fucking give me another tablet. Give me a tablet. She'll just like, snatch a random tablet.
Technology all over this fucking house.
And we'll find, like, elementary school level shit. And we'll, like, as she's, like, pulling it up, look at Larry, like, Larry, you might want to try and convince this one about its name, too.
Larry nods and
great.
salutes. And then floats over to Theodore and, like, puts an arm around Theodore in a gesture not unlike grabbing someone by the shoulders to kind of guide them. And you hear Larry very calmly pat Theodore on the side and say, Theodore, I will teach you.
Oh.
The prideful smile Kaya has is unmatched. And she fucking sets up. She probably like fucking clears out the rest of the fucking coffee table. It's like, okay, this is now drone school. To set up the other iPad and gets another fucking small box. I imagine this one is fucking cupcake liners.
Okay, you have multiple iPads going.
Drone school is in session. Fucking lead Theodore to his seat. Like she's got some like elementary schooler apps. Kaya would just be like, did you put it into the child safety mode?
You don't want him finding Wikipedia?
Not yet.
But this one
probably
would be
around
fun with Wikipedia.
Probably like, I don't know, tomorrow, a couple of days from now, after he gets a good, grasp on the concept of shit, like in real life. Anyway, did you turn it on or not?
She won't answer. She just sets it up and puts it in front of him.
Larry gives you a hand signal that is only you understand, Kaya, to be the okay sign, because he does not have fingers.
Okay. She lets out like a breath, gives him like a nod. Okay. Alright. Gets out another fucking sticker.
Hmm.
Next one.
Robin.
I should probably get to name one.
There's one more.
Why did you get to name two?
I didn't name two. Both George and Leo came from fucking Larry.
There gives you the hand sign that is thumbs up. Again, no fingers. You just know that that one means thumbs up.
Like, fine. Robin.
Yeah, you get to name the old one.
Probably already has a name. Well, whatever.
Well, I mean,
Robin.
it depends on if he's fucked up like this one was, but
Yeah, we'll see. We shall start booting it up.
You boot this one up. This one is a year old. As you turn this one on, it has a similar reaction to the previous one, Theodore. It comes on, and you can see. Get this down. You can see that this one, like, it comes on, its expression is also blank, and it looks around, and it doesn't float up immediately. You can see the look on its face is Robin's face, or whatever you want to name this one. The look on their face is tense, and it looks at you, and it looks around the room, and it doesn't float up. It just kind of sits there motionless for a moment. But it's very much awake. You can see that it's awake. You can see its face.
Hi.
It looks at you, and you can see the expression just be a little bit more anxious. Not dark anymore.
No, it's not. Yeah, more than that anymore.
she made a body for you.
Yeah. Do you have you got a name already?
It just looks at its manipulators. No name.
Well, is it cool if we call you Robin?
It looks at you, and there is confusion, as if it would ask why, but it doesn't ask why. Not verbally, at least.
We wanted to give you a name. So are you happy with Robin, or did you want to come up with something else, or, think of a new one together?
Happy? Is there more work?
No. Not unless you, want to do stuff.
Want to do stuff? No. Robin is a good name.
Cool. She'll write it on the sticker. Got a little name tag for you, so, we can all learn your name. Is it okay for me to put it on? Yeah.
She looks at her hands. And there's a long pause before she looks up and says, "You can put a sticker on."
Okay, cool. Kaya will just slowly like lean in and just peel off the little tiny little sticker and just hold it up and just very gently just place.
You put the sticker on the top of the little Larry unit, and you can see Robin processing something. And you watch as the manipulator goes to the side of the paneling, on the or not the side of the paneling, but like directly on the little LCD screen.
Mm-hmm.
And with the manipulator touching it, like the corner of the manipulator, it drags the manipulator down and just makes a scratch right in the LCD screen.
Oh. Was there a reason you did that?
No pain.
No.
Wait.
But you still get. Wait.
Legacy kind of leans forward, kind of over Kaya's shoulder, I imagine. Did you feel pain before?
There is a look of, like, concentration on Robin's face. Not sure. Remember learning, but I don't remember seeing. Don't remember hearing. But I know what seeing is. And I know what hearing is. Like being in a box. But... and... being in a box, but... not feeling. I still can't feel.
Legacy nods slightly. And she kind of like rests the forearm on Kaya's shoulder. She kind of tilts her head in Kaya's direction. And very quietly so that like Robin cannot hear her. I think this one's a little more human than machine in its concepts.
Kaya.
Larry
Sorry.
is helping, for the record, Larry is helping Theodore. He is not privy to any of the comments that have happened.
Okay, Kaya just a slight nod. She's feeling a lot of emotions right now. A lot of them are just sparking into anger at a certain Australian.
Lockhart is also kind of leaning in and taking in Robin, whatever has happened to the spot. And it's kind of like thinking, kind of similar kind of thought to Kaya of like, oh my god, what did he do?
That's exactly what Kaya's thinking. What did he fucking do?
I have an idea of things to say, but I am also... You go first, Amy, if you have Kaya that has what to say things. These are your babies.
Kaya is feeling very protective of her new babies. What the fuck did that tiny Australian man do to you? Skin feels like Kaya just this flickering back and forth of like anger is building up. She's letting it out. She's being calm. Just anger is building up. It's like nope. Keep calm. Just like a little bit of back and forth. Just some holdover from the short fuse.
This one's nervous.
Yeah, I know. All right. All right. Look, Robin. Hi. I'm Kaya, and whatever you went through before, you're not in a box anymore.
Robin just looks at you, and there's a pause, but nods once.
All right. You can see, you can hear. Made you like a little body for you to like do stuff in, and if you're not happy with it, or if you want to be able to do stuff, you just let me know, and we can talk about adding stuff or making more capable for certain shit if you want to do that instead. But you don't have to do anything.
Free?
Well, pretty much. I mean, I'd prefer for you to like stay with me so that I can, make sure that you're okay and take care of you.
You get this little nudge from Legacy, and she kind of gives you like this like meaningful look of like, can I do something? It's very much the same expression that she had when you broached this topic with her way back when.
Kai will give her like a tilt of her head of like, okay, go ahead.
Robin, do you know what you are?
Robin looks up to you. Mind you, Robin has not really floated up at all. Robin is still seated on the ground. Their face looks up to you, Legacy, and says,
Me? I don't understand.
And she nods. You are you. Like, we. And she, like, pats Kaya and then, like, taps her own chest and, like, will kind of pat Lockhart on the arm. Are human. And she'll, like, point behind Robin in towards the others. And those are drones.
there's a moment of like distress as you point behind Robin, and Robin can't turn around. You can see Robin like there's no legs or shoulders or hips or anything to ambulate, but the sensation of that you can see in their face as they try to ambulate, as they try to move, you can see what looks like a growing form of discomfort as they're like,
Okay.
there's no legs.
Okay. I am going to touch you. Is that okay?
Robin looks up to you, and the panic starts to subside.
Oh, fuck.
No. You can touch.
Okay. She reaches out and very carefully picks Robin up. Very slowly. And kind of turns. Are you uncomfortable?
Hi, I'm okay.
And Legacy nods, and she will, like, not lift her any higher than when she paused, and will turn Robin around. Those are the drones.
Oh. Am I a drone?
And Legacy will turn Robin back towards them. And give a little nod. You are a drone.
You can see there's a thoughtful process going on as they start to absorb the information. And they slowly nod.
I'm a drone. Okay. How do I... What do I do?
Well, let's get you moving first. Does that sound good?
There's like a somewhat defeated look.
Can't move. No, I don't feel legs.
And Legacy nods. And we'll look towards Kaya. I know you can't right now, Kaya, but maybe a bipedal or quadrupedal model might be in the picture here.
Yeah, I'll work on that tonight. I'll do that tonight.
And she looks back towards Robin. I'm going to introduce you to your big brother, Larry.
Larry?
And she nods. And look over towards Larry, who I'm assuming is still with Theodore.
He is still with Theodore, but at the mention of his name, he there's a perk up, and then Larry slowly turns around without trying to disturb Theodore as Theodore learns something.
Larry, we need your help.
Larry salutes and floats over.
And I imagine, as he's floating over, Legacy will, lift, because she's got Robin in one hand. And, kind of lift the other one in this kind of, flat hand, kind of, slow gesture.
Larry looks at Robin and does the head tilt with his full body. I'm Larry.
I'm Robin.
And Larry looks up to you, Legacy, and looks at Robin. Want me to carry?
Well, you can for now, if Robin is okay with that. But there's a very strange question that I don't know if you're going to be able to answer, Larry. But if you can, we'd like you to try.
He looks very serious. But he's prepared.
Robin doesn't really understand how to... What are they? They're not thrusters.
They're magnets.
Yeah, it's magnets. So basically levitate.
Yeah.
Or magnetize.
Robin doesn't really understand how to use her levitating magnets. Is there something that you can maybe describe on how it feels? Or how it works to you?
Oh, man. Okay, Kyle, do you want to roll this or do you want me to roll this? Here he is, your NPC.
What would the roll be?
It would be a clever roll plus your drone use.
Would I like to roll this?
Go for it.
Okay. Can I throw a boost on it or no?
Group prep.
You can throw one boost.
One boost.
Or, one prep for one boost, and you don't have to decrease your boost at all or your prep score, because I will say that for this, Larry will supply the prep this one time.
Okay. 14.
That's pretty good. Larry, like, the screen that is his face is much more detailed, so you can see a finer grain of detail in the expressions, and you see his face kind of grunch as he really thinks about how he floats and how it feels to float and how it feels to access his ability to float. And he puts his two manipulators on the side of the screen, basically like somebody putting their hands on their head in kind of like an intense, almost cartoonish thinking gesture. And Larry just crunches his face tighter and tighter and tighter. And he, in a like aha kind of moment, like throws his hands up and then gestures to Robin and says, "Think up. But not too much up. Up a little." And Robin looks very, very unsure. Kaya, roll me 1d6
Just like, as she's
plus your
looking,
drone use.
as she's looking unsure, like if Legacy still has her at her hand, like, don't worry too much. If anything happens, we'll take care of you.
Robin, you are looking at the face of this small drone, and they look down, and Legacy in particular, because you are holding Robin, there is a moment where you are holding Robin and just get a sensation of vertigo, almost like a child who is standing on top of a high dive, and it's just like, jump, it'll be okay, like you'll hit the water, you won't die, it's okay. And with a 7, you, while holding Robin, Legacy, and Lockhart and Kaya, you can see kind of the slight motions. You can feel a little bit of a magnetic pull and push, but it's very unsteady. It feels uncertain, like somebody putting their foot down and taking their foot up and putting their foot down and taking their foot up.
Legacy will nod. That's right. You're starting to get it.
After a moment of doing that, Robin, the manipulators, you can see that the manipulators start to seem like they make sense to her. She brings her hands in and pulls them around the front of herself, like in this arms crossed kind of hugging gesture. And you feel the magnetic pull just stop. And that is Robin's silent way of just being like, quitting. Like, tried and couldn't quite get a feel for it, and was like, no, I don't want to.
Legacy just kind of like looks at her and tilts her head. Would you like to try while holding my hand? Just like holds up the flesh hand. Like, maybe if she's got something to hold on to.
She looks over at your hand, and she looks uncertain. If you want, I will say you can try to convince her to try. Kaya, in particular, if you want to try and convince her, you can add your drone use to any check to try and persuade her. But right now, she looks pretty shelled up.
I imagine that Kaya that entire time was just like trying to convince herself to not commit murder.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. She probably clocked Lockhart pulling out her phone.
I'm imagining very aggressive texting is happening to the side.
Yep.
Yep. But she might have taken a peek over Lockhart's shoulder.
I imagine that like Lockhart is kind of sitting a little bit behind everyone, but paying attention to what's going on, but still a little out of the way in the Lockhart style.
How I was imagining it because of the setup of the apartment. There's like one
Oh, yeah,
couch.
Can we go back to the apartment?
Yeah, you know what?
Apartment map. Yeah.
We can go back to
It's
the
just like
apartment.
if everybody's wanting to sit, there is one couch, so it's like Kaya in the middle, like on the edge, like leaning forward as she's doing her work, and like Legacy and Lockhart to either side.
You would think that y'all would have gotten like some chairs or a second sofa at this point. You know?
Why?
Why?
Excuse me, do you have second sofa money?
Not to mention the fact that Legacy is a gremlin and does not sit on furniture half the time.
Wait, there's a couch right here. Fucking.
That's in Kaya's room. That's
in Kaya's room. Yeah.
With how many people there are in this party now?
Now,
that's funny.
we don't
Now.
update for this fucking party. This was a 3-person household. One couch was fine.
Okay, fine. Lockhart is leaning back though. She's not as leaned forward as everyone else, kind of.
Okay. This coffee table has been moved to like probably over here. It's set up as drone school now. But she'll just like run a hand like through her hair. If she had makeup on, it'd be like that fucking smear would just be everywhere. But she doesn't. Why would she? You know? But she just like runs a hand through her hair. She just like lets out this like breath of just like, I'll just deal with it later. Is what she thinks to herself. But she'll just slowly just like shift. Being like, you know what? She'll let Lockhart deal with Bengetti. She turns to Legacy holding Robin. Hey, Robin. If you don't wanna use the electromagnet thing, you don't gotta. But I can design something else for you. But I just wanted to ask, could you try it one more time for me? Just give it one more shot. We'll take care of you, we'll hold your hand. We'll make sure nothing happens to you.
Larry will like float in beside you and hold out his little manipulators and offer them to Robin.
No.
Go ahead and roll me your drone use check with the clever plus drone use.
Is it the regular?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, with 2d6.
2d6 clever plus drone use.
10 barely gets there. With a 10, you see Robin's face as she looks down, and what is ostensibly the span of like 20 inches to Robin is just leagues of distance. It is a massive gap. But she looks up to you, and she looks over to Larry, and then she looks over to Legacy. And she will reach out both of her little manipulators to Larry and clamp on to his hands. And you feel the little gravity-defying magnets pick on Legacy. Kaya, roll me 1d6 plus your drone use. This will be easier for her.
Boop.
So, if you've ever seen a toddler try to swim in the same way that, like, you hold their hands and they kick their feet and they kind of float a little bit, but their head goes under, and then they float above the water and their head goes under, that little, like, up, down, up, above, under, above, under, above, under, you see Robin kind of bob and up and down and up and down and up and down and kind of steady for a second and then bob up and down a little bit, and she is floating, but you all the while can hear like this almost like nervous balancing noises of just like
Oh.
Well, look, you're doing great. No, we got you. You know, don't worry. You're doing amazing. All right.
big floating.
Yeah.
And after a couple seconds, he is still awkwardly, but still airborne.
See, there you go.
Down.
Yep. Just like hand back under her.
You put the hand underneath her, and almost immediately she rests, and you hear the like relieved. There's no lungs on this person, but they let out a relieved sigh, a very human gesture.
That was a good try.
Yeah, that was great.
Thank you. Floating is weird.
Yeah, could imagine. No, but you did great. I'm really proud of you.
Lazy nods. If you really don't like it, I'm sure Kaya can work on trying to get you legs or wheels or something that you would like better, but it will take some time. So you're gonna have to either be okay with sitting or just riding around on somebody, or figure out how to move just a little bit until it's done.
She just very, very calmly nods. And there's in a very small, like I want to say barely audible. It's very audible. There's not really a hell of a lot of volume control that you can get, or not really a hell of a broad volume range that you can get with the rudimentary speakers. So they kind of just are at a base level, but you can hear in a very, very soft voice just,
I would like legs. I can wait. Legs are easy.
Do you
Okay.
do you want 2 or 4?
She blinks for a second, and you can see this, like, look of confusion. Like, she doesn't really know how many legs she wants. But she does answer. She, after a pause of thought, she says,
4?
Okay, cool. If you want, Robin, later, me and you can, like, pull out the notebook and you can, give your input on, designing how you want your layout to be. And it will take some time, but I'll make it for you. Whatever you'll be more comfortable with.
she blinks and nods very, very slowly. She seems on board with this idea.
So, Robin, we still have to meet one more of your siblings we've not met yet. Do you want to sit on the table? Or with one of us? Or what would you like to be doing right now?
Thinks for a second, and then points to the table and says,
A table. I can see everything, and then I can sit.
That works.
Okay. Grab a seat.
when
And
you
Robin,
set
like,
her down on the table, when you set her down on the table, there's, you again hear this weirdly human, like, evocation of just like,
Okay. Thank you.
like the sound of someone settling into a chair. Without the chair noise, obviously.
Well, can Robin, like, use her hands still to, like, grab shit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she can still hold on to things. She seems very familiar with her hands.
So, Joe, if you'll allow me to do this,
Yes.
can I just very quickly have Kai just make a little, like, cart? Very simple, I don't know, grab, like,
Mm-hmm.
toy car, like little tiny little wheels, fucking double-sided tape it onto, like, a couple, like, little bits of, like,
So he like a
big little
skateboard that
popsicle.
she can
Yeah.
slide around on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can totally do that.
Okay. Just so that she's not, like, confined to one spot. Say if she doesn't want to listen to the alphabet for the 5th time in a row.
That is totally that. Yeah, you can totally do that without.
Okay.
I imagine Kaya had at this, like, prior to this, pulled out like a whole fucking, like, 2 armfuls of garbage that she could just have at the drop of a hat, because you never know when you're going to need to, like, ad hoc make some random bullshit. So she just
Yeah.
had some random bullshit on hand.
Especially
yeah.
with Legacy and Kaya both having the fucking scavenger shit.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. There's the house, like, I mean, I hate to say it this way, but I was gonna say, since there's no more Lindis to, like, really preen the house, the piles of things have kind of gotten to a point where it's not dirty, it's just different piles that are dedicated to different things.
It's cluttered.
Yeah, it's cluttered. Useful clutter, mind you.
Okay.
But you have the useful clutter around.
But yeah, settle her on her little makeshift skateboard. She'll make her way over back to the couch.
Do we want to find out what's going on with this last one?
Is that in or out of character?
Both.
Okay. Be like, I can't tell that strained voice. I've heard both in Z and Legacy.
¿Por qué no los dos?
And oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Kaya just sits down. She just rubs her temples with both hands. I mean, I can't just leave them there. Like,
If we find out that he's fucked up, or she, or whatever it is fucked up too, neither one of you is gonna pop an aneurysm, right?
we'll see. Alright.
We'll see. Is not good in this situation, considering we had one that, like, she sounded like she was on the edge of a fucking panic attack. And she's an AI in a drone body.
Kaya's picked up another sticker.
Do you want to take a moment to collect yourself?
Is that directed towards Kaya? Or Kaya, okay.
Legacy is
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
frustrated, but Legacy is fine. She's surprisingly chill with the situation.
yeah. Kaya just turns. And she was about to say, I'm fine. You'd see it all over her fucking face. But she stops and she just looks down at the table. At the 4 drones all sitting. One scooting. Big Larry just supervising and helping.
You have a lot on your hands to deal with already.
She'll just lean back on the couch and just kind of just look up at the ceiling. Well, yeah. I mean, what else am I supposed to do?
Now, I am not saying that if you don't want to do this right now, that you just, like, leave him there forever. That we've already figured out that's a not great thing, considering they keep talking about being in boxes. But powered off right now, so he doesn't know that any time is passing. So if you want to get these 4 sorted before we fucking uncover whatever the fuck is about to come out in the next one, you do have that option. Because I can only imagine if that one, this past one, or blah, blah, blah. I can only imagine that if Robin has, what, something like a year worth of data on her, this one has 100.
I agree with Legacy here.
That's a fucking miracle.
You do?
You don't have to ignore him. But you could put it off. At least a little bit.
Do you really think that's the best thing to do here?
Well, there's no best thing here. The entire thing is a shit show.
It is rather fucked. But
You hear
should
Larry
also...
from beside you say, "Fucky shit show."
I'm so glad we taught him to cuss.
You also need to worry about your well-being, that too.
What do you mean? Look, I'm fine, alright?
Well, you're already about to fucking pull an all-nighter to make Robin some legs, so if this one comes out, oh god, I can only imagine what you're gonna have to be dealing with that one, which is another point towards, Leo, Theo, and George. you're not having to necessarily adjust anything. They're learning fine. They're learning fine, right, Larry?
Larry looks over. Theo is very enamored with a lesson about, like, how bees pollinate flowers. And he does not seem to be at all checked into what's going on, while Leo and George have counted to 20.
I'm so proud of them.
Those three are very, very much engaged in their own respective media. And Larry looks to Legacy, and Legacy, you're starting to pick up on the hand gestures now, too. He gives you 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, that's the one hand gesture she knows she knows.
It's very different. To anyone else, they cannot tell a difference. However, I imagine that, like, if Larry were to ever flip someone off,
That's like Kaya and Legacy would immediately know. Thumbs up and flip off, those are 2 that they understand.
yeah. But I imagine to the outsider, it's the same exact fucking gesture. But Lexi and Kaya would know. They're like, Larry!
No, Kaya would be
ever
like,
so
Larry.
slight minutia.
Legacy would be laughing.
Just fucking... What'd you say, Joe?
The ever so slight difference between, like, whether the wrist is turned partially or not, and you're just like, hey, he's being nice. No.
Oh. Larry!
But Legacy gets the thumbs up, nods, looks back to Kaya. Like, so they're gonna be fine. Fine might be objective, but they're on a decent path right now to roughly catching up with Larry at some point and getting on. Robin's gonna take some work, so you're gonna have at least her already that you're gonna be working on for probably a while, let's be real.
Well, yeah, but, like, what if... Next one, what if, they also need help?
Well, that's the point, though. Are you sure that you're going to be effective in helping both of them at the exact same time? Plus
There is
everything
only
else?
so much of you. There is only so much for you to go around.
Look, how am I supposed to not help him? I don't...
Again, we're not saying don't help him. We're saying we need you to understand that there is an option of waiting until these 4 are settled and then helping this one. Again, if you want to help him right now, you want to wake him up and put him in a body right now, we're not gonna stop you. But I feel like you might be hitting the point of just, you're on the train track, and so why not keep going rather than realizing there's a chance to pause. That's coming from me.
Kaya just sighs. And she kind of, like, leans her head back some more. And her gaze just kind of shifts from Legacy over to Lockhart. And you agree with her?
For the most part, yes. There is also the option of getting more insight on exactly what Johan did to that last one, so you can be more prepared.
I mean, I gotta go into the full dive at some point this week, so we're going over there anyway.
I mean,
pretty sure when I took all of them from him, I also took all of the research he did on him, on the experiments.
Perhaps going through that could help then.
I just don't want to... How do you explain to them that this one didn't get let out yet?
Well, I don't think that's gonna be a problem with Leo and George, let's be real. Theo and
They are
Robin.
more perceptive than you think. You know?
And I have lived with Larry all this time, I'm aware. But explaining them is not necessarily needed right now. They're still wrapping their heads around the concept of a name. We got a few days.
But Robin and probably Theo soon. And not to mention fucking Larry.
Looks at Larry.
Like,
If you want to speak to him, referring to the last one, yourself, we could watch over these ones so they don't overhear.
And if you are so concerned about what the rest of the drones are gonna say, looks at Larry, kind of gestures towards him. Here's your opportunity to add your 2 cents in, my boy.
I don't have any money.
same.
It's an expression. Do you have an opinion on this?
He looks at the last unused Larry body, and he looks at the others. And of the 4 that are animate, only one looks back at him, and it is Robin. The others are absorbed in their various stimuli. Robin looks at him from atop her little impromptu rudimentary skateboard. I don't know. I want to see who, but I know that I don't know a lot of stuff.
Kaya just nods. She just downs the rest of her coffee cup. And she just puts it on the floor because the coffee table is taken. She's gonna fucking fuck it. She's gonna flip it. She's gonna pull out a coin.
Let's go.
Oh boy.
She's gonna fucking pull it up and just hold it in her hand. Just like, I'm just seriously. You know what? Fuck it. Just gonna flip the coin.
Let's go. High or low?
Okay.
Well, she would have to say 1 is this, 2 is this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
1, Kaya will put it off. Let's focus on the current 4. 2, she is going to do it.
Okay.
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 Next time.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Next time.
Okay, so next time you guys want to see what happens when you turn it on?
Yep, hold on. In the session of just like, I imagine Kai didn't say anything when she flipped the coin. She didn't do the heads this, tails that. She just flipped the coin. And then you just see her just nod at the result, pocket the coin. And you see that she takes out the last sticker. And she writes out the name Casey.
Casey.
She takes out one of the last stickers because as soon as Legacy sees that, she just kind of sighs and will take 2 of them and like Legacy and slap one on her chest, and Lockhart before Lockhart can like fucking have an
Yes!
option, one on Lockhart's chest.
Lockhart, one for Larry, one for... Yes, everyone gets names.
It clashes so badly with Lockhart's suit, but it's fun.
We had trouble convincing the last one for a second, so everybody gets a name tag.
Everyone, yeah. There's some people-sized ones, as well as the teeny tiny ones.
I will go ahead and say above table, we will not be doing Gigadeath next session.
No,
Oh.
duh. We got like
Since
2 more sessions, my dude.
Yeah, we still got a little bit more. We still got a little bit more on the checklist to get through, but that's okay because we will get through this.
This is what happens when. This is also what happens when we miss a game.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to see the little tidbit of what happens when you first turn them on. Okay, well, is Casey gendered more masculine? Them. You don't want to see what happens when you first turn them on.
I chose a gender neutral name, so it's up to you. Boy or
Gotcha.
girl or them.
Technically, Robin's also gender neutral. That's
Yeah,
why I chose
but-
it.
Robin is also gender neutral, but I leaned more feminine because I was like, we got boy,
A lot of
boy,
boys.
boy.
Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. Casey girl.
Yeah.
We need some more females up in this bitch.
Why does the name Casey sound familiar?
Because it's a pretty common name.
No, it's
See, I
that
hear
name,
Casey and I
backstory
think-
something.
I hear Casey and I think Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And
Yeah.
It's a problem.
I think, yeah, that's the guy with the fucking
Yep.
hockey stick. Yeah. Yeah, and that's Kaya's font. Let's go.
So, no, you don't get to fucking give us a cliffhanger, sir. Our cliffhanger is our own design here.
Yeah,
Start
I
off
made
with
the own.
turning him.
Fine.
I made my own cliffhanger of revealing the name.
Fine. I will accept this. I will accept your cliffhanger instead of my cliffhanger.
Hmm.
That was a fun session.